Good morning, everybody. Sit here in the garden. Just been doing a little bit of weeding and cleaning up in amongst the silver beet. So I've got a few bigger, these are wheat or barley plants here, and they'll just compete for moisture with the things. But these here, they're like a clover. They look like clover. They're not actually a clover. They're a medic, but they're closely related, and they're a legume, and they fix nitrogen. So I'm not taking all of that out for a couple of reasons. One is because these pens, their primary function isn't to be a garden, it's to be a little chook run. So the clover will be good food for the chooks when I let chooks in there again eventually, and I will probably at some point let them in put a couple in there on a short-term basis, just to have a bit of a peck and a feed if the silver beet gets to the point where I can't keep harvesting it and using it myself. So as you can see in the middle there, that big plant's got a couple of leaves on there that could be harvested, and that's been ticking away very nicely. The broad beans at the back there, they're going away nicely too, and where I planted the seeds, one's come up, so I haven't given up hope that there'll be more. It was very old seed, so I just threw it into, that's why I threw it in down there in a chook run. See how it went. I've also been doing a little bit of weeding through the other patch here, just with a cultivator and a hoe. So the beetroot at the back there is going very nicely. The little patch where I put the peas in there, no, again, that was very old seed. So two options there. I might throw the rest of the old pea seed in there and hope a few of them come up, or I might throw a couple of rows of beetroot seeds in through there. I like beetroot. So the beetroot that I transplanted's coming away very nicely. The cabbages, collie and broccoli are looking very good. So I'm happy with this bed. I'm happy with the other bed. And if we move along over here, I've started filling the compost bin. I've got to build a little door on the front yet, but we have, I started in the bottom with some wood chip. Now I've got some lawn clippings on there, some leaf that was raked up in at the fish shop. So that's ticking along nicely too. If I can get that bin full, a couple of months I'll be able to turn it over into the next one, and then a couple of months after that over the next one, and within 6 months hopefully I'll have some good usable compost. So I've planted all this little patch here now is planted out, but there's a little funny story here too, so we'll get to that in a minute. So this tyre here has got baby spinach around the outside, and in the middle I've planted spinach. You see here the radishes are ripping away nicely here, so, and the plant, they're very quick to grow and harvest, so I'll be harvesting them before the beetroot, which is growing in amongst it, will be even close. And then these are the carrots starting to move through. These are the ones I put under the cardboard. My rhubarb plant is still hanging in there. I worked out, looking at the leaves, I wasn't sure whether that was mechanical damage but I suspect the rhubarb may not like my water here. So the bore water that I'm using to irrigate the garden or water the garden is quite salty, and I can't grow beans other than broad beans using this water. So the rhubarb may be in the same boat. So I'm going to look at, I've got that old freezer over there catches the water off the chook house roof, so that's rainwater in there. So I might have to start looking at just watering the rhubarb with rainwater. This little patch I put the beetroot seedlings in, they're hanging in there and ticking along, starting to pick up now. The chooks have been in and helped scattering the mulch around a little bit, so that's been very helpful. So this is where I had the board with the carrots, and you can see I'd say the board was a little bit more successful than the cardboard, as far as it's the same packet of carrot seeds planted on the same day. So I took the board off a little bit earlier than I did the weed there, than I did the cardboard. So I don't know whether it was because it came off early or the board, but this seems to have been a little bit more successful. So in that little strip there, I've planted some turnip, and the same in this little strip here. And then this longer strip through the middle, I've planted a row of carrots in the more traditional fashion. So I'll see how that goes compared to the board. So with the board, those carrots were starting to come through in about 8 days. Normally take about 14. And they came through. There's quite a few of the seeds that I put in there have come up. I planted that quite heavily, so we'll see how that goes. The lettuces and collie are going quite nicely, and the garlic in here. So I'll start a couple of these bigger lettuces. I'll start picking a couple of those damaged leaves off the bottom of them in the next week, just to give them a bit of a chance to get up and away out of the mulch and get high. The kale's going right very nicely. I planted spring onions in this tie, so either side is spring onions, and then through the middle there I put spring onion seeds. We've got the garlic, and this has also got garlic cloves planted through it, so I'm just waiting for them to pop their heads through. Parsley, and here's my little funny story. So my lettuces, these lettuces, they're not lettuces, they're thistles. There are some self-seeded lettuces here. That's a lettuce, and that's a lettuce, and that's a lettuce, and there's some green lettuces were in here as well, but that's fat hen, and these certainly aren't. They're thistles. So I've pulled all the thistles out of my controversial toilet bowl garden, and I'll get some lettuces, or maybe just throw some lettuce seed in there, see how that goes. So yeah, that's my little funny story. And there was a couple of big thistles grow up in here, because I haven't used this garden for 3 or 4 years properly, of little bits and pieces. So there was a couple of thistles growing in these ties, so they very successfully seeded. And before I ripped them out, I wanted to just show you what I thought was lettuces isn't. They've grown very well. The ones I transplanted, they took very well as well, so I'll call that a success, even if it wasn't what I wanted. Alright guys, thank you very much for having a look this morning, and I'll be doing a little bit more in the garden over the next week or so. I'm not sure how many videos I'll get up, but thanks for watching. See ya.